welcome to another Lawn Fawn video. Today I am introducing our brand new set Lovable Legends and its coordinating dies. So let's go ahead and check this set out. First up we have our adorable Bigfoot, then we have our Kraken, and then the Loch Ness Monster, of course. We have a great boat to go along with the Kraken and the Loch Ness Monster, some bubbles and some fun splashes for creating great water scenes. We have these great feet for Bigfoot so you can show his whole trail, and then these wonderful trees that are also great for setting the scene. We have a party hat for birthdays, a solid and open heart, and a solid and open star. We also have this great ocean line, which I just love repeating a bunch of times over and over again. Then we have You're a Legend, What's Crackin', and Have an Unbelievable Birthday. And I have to say the What's Crackin' is my favorite. It just cracks me up every single time. Then we have exclamation points to add to the ends of your phrases. Next, I'm going to be coloring these fun animals with my Copic markers. And so I spent a lot of time coloring all of these kind of unbelievable legendary creatures here with markers. And I just had so much fun with it. I think it's so relaxing to color and just kind of go with it and keep building that color up, playing with markers. Maybe I don't use that often, like that E21. I don't use it often, so it's kind of fun to play with it and just keep adding my shading over and over again in the different areas. See there, you can see there I keep blending. And then now it's time to color in the feet and hand and in the face too. So I'm just adding a little bit of shading around the face just to make him look almost like he's a little bit dirty, you know, that he's been out in the woods a little bit. And then to color in that tooth, I'm actually going to use a white gel pen to make it really pop. Now here is the Kraken. Now I had a tough time deciding what color to color the Kraken, but what's kind of cool about him is he's mythological, so you can color him whatever you want. So I thought purple would be really fun, but I think blues and greens and browns, I think all could be awesome. So I can't wait to see what kind of cool colors you guys come up with. But these are my absolute favorite purples. I just love them, and I thought he looked really, really cool in purple. So I'm laying on my kind of light to medium shades, and then I'm using that really dark marker just in the corners I want the shadow to be the most. And I'm not blending it too much so that it really gives that depth and look of a shadow. And I usually overblend everything, honestly, and so I thought it would be fun to kind of try not to blend and really leave those dark lines, and I really like the look of it. I think it looks really cool and really kind of three-dimensional. It's really fun. So I'm just blending out again, once again, because I can't help myself. I keep layering the color over and over and over again. But I think it's looking really, really cool with those awesome shadows. I'm just going to add a little bit more to the sides of him just to give something around his face going on a little bit. And now it's time to color the boat. And for the sails, I use some warm grays. I think it's really cool. It makes them look kind of dirty, like they've been out in the ocean for a while. Now it's time for Nessie, and I love these greens for him. I think they're just such a fun kind of color palette for the Loch Ness Monster. So I'm going to blend those on there. I think it would be also kind of cool to try to blend some browns and greens together for him too. I think that would be really fun to play with. So you'll see I'm keeping him lightest to the top and darkest at the bottom because I'm going to have him kind of underwater. So I want him to kind of look darker at the bottom, like he's under some murky water. And then the lightness at the top where he's going to be peeking out of the lake. So once again, I just kept blending up and keeping everything light towards the top. And you'll see I'm touching the markers together to create a medium shade because I had quite a bit of a jump between that G21 and G40. And by touching those markers together, it really did help me blend those just a little bit more. And those little spots I colored with a white gel pen too. And since I had my purples out, I thought a purple party hat would be really cute for the Loch Ness Monster. Now here are the coordinating dies, and you can either bend them apart at the wire tabs or use your wire snips to cut them apart. I'm going to use some low-tack tape, some post-it note tape, line up my dies and hold them in place with that post-it note tape. I can run it through my die cut machine and have perfectly cut out images every time. And here you can see all of the images from this set. I love those little feet, and the party hat can fit on any of these fun creatures. Now next up, I'm going to work on my Loch Ness Monster card. And I actually took all of my dies and my stamps and kind of laid out what I thought my card wanted to look like. So I'm going to take that die and cut some mermaid cardstock and then start laying everything on there so I know how high to cut the other pieces. So first I'm going to cut some noble fir cardstock with that same stitched rectangle, and then I'm going to take that curved edge and kind of pop it on over to that green piece and then die cut that. And then now I'm going to have this great hill for the background. Now I'm cutting some peacock cardstock with that same stitch rectangle and then using the ocean wave border to get some fun waves. Next, I'm going to cut a vellum panel in the same exact way. And at first I had them the same height, but then I thought it would look cool if it was a little bit shorter. So I went ahead and die cut it again so I would have a shorter wave piece. And now I'm ready to start setting up the rest of my card. So I'm going to die cut some trees stamped in freshly cut grass. And then I'm going to lay out my entire scene so that I know where to stamp my "Have an Unbelievable Birthday" sentiment. So now that that's all stamped, I can start layering all of my pieces. So first I have my grass, and then I'm going to add the middle tree, then the two outside trees, and then I can fit the in-between trees there and create a whole tree line there. I'm going to add that ocean there with some foam tape, and then my trick for hiding the glue on the vellum is to follow the stitched lines, and that little stitching detail is going to hide any glue. So just do tiny little drops of glue all along that stitching edge. Then you can lay it on top of the other piece of cardstock, and that stitched edge will hide the glue once it dries. So now that I've got that all on there, what's nice is my top is open so that I can tuck my Nessie inside. So now I cut some sugar plum cardstock to be a nice little border here for my scene. I thought it was cool that it kind of matched his hat. I'm going to use some tape runner to adhere my scene to the sugar plum cardstock and then add some foam tape to my Nessie and tuck him in there in that ocean. And I think this card is just so cute. I think it would just make someone laugh on their birthday. Next, I'm using one of the 4-bar stitch rectangles, and I've cut some mermaid cardstock, and now I'm going to die cut some white cardstock and use the speech bubble border die to cut a speech bubble for the Kraken. I thought this would be really fun for the "What's Kraken" sentiment. So here I've got the Kraken in the boat, and now he needs some waves. So I'm going to die cut some blue jay cardstock with that same stitch rectangle and then use my ocean wave borders again. And now I have 2 ocean wave pieces here out of that blue jay cardstock, but I want one to be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to take my Yeti ink, which is a white pigment ink, and one of these little finger daubers. And I'm just using some scratch paper here to protect my work surface, and I'm going to rub that white ink onto the cardstock. And by doing this, I'm creating a second shade of cardstock with just one color. So I'm rubbing that ink on, and you'll see there the difference between the 2 pieces. Then I'm going to smear and push the ink in with my finger, wipe my finger off with my stamp chamois, and then I can start working on my sentiment. So I'm stamping that in deep C on that speech bubble piece, and then using some fish tank ink for these great little splash lines. Now I can layer my "What's Kraken" sentiment and my 2 layers of ocean wave there, which makes it look like I had 2 colors of cardstock when I really only had 1. Then I'll use some foam tape for my Kraken, and I can add the little boat on him, which I think is a great finishing touch. And now I'm going to create a little card base here to go along with my card, and I love this little mini size card. I think it would really make someone smile, and that Kraken is just too much fun. And here is a look at the 2 cards together. They just crack me up. This set is just too much fun. So this is Lovable Legends and it coordinating dies, and you can make the most fun cards with this Bigfoot, Kraken, and Nessie. I just love them, and I can't wait to see what kind of cool and creative and funny cards that you guys come up with this set. So thank you so much for watching, and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!